Welcome to With Heart and Soul podcast. You're listening to your hosts, David and Jacky. Hi, David.
Hello. I see you went back to the original intro.
I know the other one sounded a little bit messy, so I just was like, let me just stick with what I know, okay?
Hey, that's perfectly fine.
But yeah, so talk to us talk to us about your day and all of that. You were just telling me, but tell our listeners what's going on with you.
Yeah, so it has been an eventful day. Well, it's been an eventful weekend. So Friday, my wife and I, we went to Florida to celebrate our 2-year anniversary married. It was fun. It was definitely fun. Funny enough, my wife has always wanted to go to Miami as like a vacation. And I'm just like, why? I go to Florida like every other week. But I was like, okay, fine, let's do it. And we had a good time. We went to different restaurants and we saw different things. So we was actually very tourist. So it was the first time in a while that I actually went to Miami as like a tourist, because I usually go there for work all the time. I got back Monday and I was like, I'm tired. I just want to chill. So I told Jacky, I was like, hey Jacky, can we reschedule this? And then unfortunately, just I was like, dang, we have vacation and I get to chill before I go back to work, but I couldn't because this morning I had to wake up at 3:30 to catch a flight to go to Detroit for work. And I just came back. And I was like, let's get this podcast going. So all the With Heart and Soul podcast fam, forgive me if I sound crazy, but I'm using all the energy I can. But what about you? How have you been? I mean, it's a brand new week. So how was your weekend, and how are you doing as the week has started?
I'm tired this week. Cyclically in my women's cycle, I'm getting closer to that day. So I'm just like exhausted, super low energy, just like not in the mood. Literally wanted to cancel this recording. So yeah, I'm just hanging by a thread, basically.
And how was your weekend though? Was it at least eventful a little bit?
It was good. We went to Easton the day you got to Miami, or no, you got there on Friday, right?
Mhm.
Well, I went to a town like nearby of my town, and we were just kind of exploring around there that day. So that was nice. And then Sunday, I stayed home all day and I was doing spring cleaning, and that was like exhausting. But I cleaned my fridge and it looks nice. So that's exciting. But yeah, that's what's going on with me.
You're not gonna tell our guest and our fam about your celebration that you celebrated this weekend.
No, I'm not. No. We Jacky and I also had a 2-year anniversary, but it was a 2-year engagement anniversary. So yeah, we're twinsies.
Yeah, we are. And it's so beautiful that it's springtime and the weather's getting better. We can have important dates during the springtime and we actually can go out and celebrate it instead of it being like winter and stuff and it's cold. So I think that's amazing. So Jacky had an idea for a topic today. So what's the topic that you wanted to talk about?
So there's a little bit of a backstory on this, but I watch YouTube. Like I watch vloggers on YouTube, and I came across this girl who actually lives where David lives in Atlanta, Georgia, and she makes vlogs about being an administrative assistant, which is, just I would say like a regular job, like a regular human being type of job. Now I've seen women make vlogs about being a stripper, but I've never seen someone, I swear, if there's a stripper, like she'll vlog her life of being a stripper and she gets a lot of followers. Well, this woman was making vlogs about being an administrative assistant. So I thought that was interesting. And I've been watching her vlogs and it made me think about how she puts a lot of energy into her job. Like she does her best every single day. I think that her employer is very lucky to have her, and she just does so much for her job when it comes to like she even wipes down the counter, she buys snacks, like she just does a lot for her job. And it made me realize that you can put your all into something even if it's not like your own empire or your own business. And I feel like nowadays there's just a lot of pressure on us to be successful in different ways, like in an entrepreneurship type of way. And if you're not doing that, then you don't matter and you're not successful. But that made me realize that even a regular job, like an administrative assistant, if you're putting your all into it, you are successful. You are inspiring to other people.
Yeah, I think that's very important because of the fact that you go throughout your day, and of course, you maybe be working a job that you maybe don't love, or you may be aspiring to be an entrepreneur one day, or you're starting to be an entrepreneur, but you still have to have that core job to pay the bills and things like that. But that doesn't mean you don't put your whole effort into it. It doesn't mean that you actually, you in a sense half-ass it, but you actually do your best because you have the work ethic. You're responsible. You have integrity, and sometimes your boss doesn't see that or your coworkers don't see that, but you know how much work you're putting into, and it's kind of like it could be defeating in a sense. Like if you do all this work and no one really sees it, it's kind of like, dang, like, well, should I stop? But there's a lot of people out there, as you said, with the person, the example you gave, is like they're still pushing, they're still doing it, they're still doing their best and things like that. And eventually, I mean, that effort will come to light. So
Yes, exactly. And another part of it is not only entrepreneurship, but like social media. Like people think that other people are very successful because of their follows on social media and things like that. But I think that we forget that social media isn't the only aspect to life. People are normal and they go to normal jobs and they do normal things and they put all of their effort and energy into those jobs. And even if you end up at a job where you didn't think you were going to work, you never know. If you put all of your energy into it, you can grow within that company, and you have no idea where you can end up. So it's not like you have to put all of your energy outside of your 9 to 5. Your 9 to 5 can be where you want to be successful. And I feel like that's something that needs to be normalized more.
yeah, I think, and as you were speaking, it gave me a thought that I think it was a quote or something that I saw, or a TV show, that the fact that um that all these jobs that you see in the society, someone has to work them. Someone has to be a janitor. Someone has to be picking up the trash, be a custodian. Someone has to be a waiter, or a restaurant hostess and things like that, just to get society moving. And it's not that you look at them like, oh, they're just doing like a small minimal job, but it's like they have a purpose. They have a purpose and they serve a purpose, because if those people weren't there doing those jobs and everybody became an entrepreneur, we will literally have all these places like like restaurants and supermarkets and all these stuff. They won't function, and our society won't function. But sometimes we kind of like, we say, oh, that's just a small job, that's not important. Another thing about it is that just because these, like, you're doing a day-to-day job doesn't mean that you're not important as well. I think that sometimes we say that, oh, you're stuck at this dead-end job or stuff like that. No, do the job to your highest potential, do the job to your highest ability, and then you can move on to something better. But at the time, while you're at that moment working that job, it's important for you to always be your best. So
I think about that all the time, like to your point about like fast food jobs and things like that. Even like a restaurant job, like being a waiter or waitress, I always think about how I could never do that. Like I can't. I
yeah.
do not think I would be good at that at all. So in no way do I think of someone who works like in McDonald's or Burger King or anything is like not skilled, Their skills are just different than my skills. But I work in an office. I do something similar to administrative work, and I cannot work at McDonald's. Like I would try, but I would be really bad at it.
Yeah, yeah, I can't work with McDonald's either. I think I'm a type of person that if it's too much, like I can handle multitasking and stuff like that, but if it's just too much going on at one time, I will just shut down. I'll be like, okay, I can't do this. I need a break. And it's like, well, you at those type of restaurants, you don't have breaks. You have breaks like in these pockets of time, but you can't just say, I'm just gonna walk out just because. They're gonna fire you. So, kudos to all the people that are listening that have those type of jobs. Another thing about, yeah, we see so much on social media in our society now, like entrepreneur, be an entrepreneur, start your own business. Those are exceptions to the rules. And those are people who actually want to do them and are pushing to do them. And even if you say you want to become an entrepreneur, most of them are not successful. So, and even us doing this podcast, we're an exception to the rule as well. Like, not everybody's going to say, oh, I want to do a podcast. And it's funny because when me and Jacky was asking, like, we're trying to like now branch out to get guests and stuff. And I asked friends like who are successful and do wonderful things. And I asked them like, oh, you want to be part of the podcast? Oh, no, that's not for me. And that's okay, because there are certain things that people just are not comfortable doing, and they feel like they can't do, and that's okay. But they're doing their jobs, they're successful in their own way and in their own lanes, and that's perfectly fine. I think being an entrepreneur, starting your own business is great. If you have the passion to do it. But if you feel like you want to be a CEO in a company, or you want to be an administrative assistant, or you want to work at a restaurant, do it as well. I don't think it should be a point where someone should look down on you because you decided to work with a company. People have been working with companies forever. Mm-hmm. It's just now that entrepreneurs highlighted so much. And, of course, they're important as well, too. But that might not be, it's funny, one of my friends says, that's not my ministry. And that might not be your ministry. So it's okay.
Yeah. Man, I just lost what I was going to say. But I guess more so like touching on how to be successful within your own job, at least for me in particular, like being an administrative assistant, which isn't exactly my job title, but it's just something similar to that. There are a lot of ways that I've been challenged in that job, and a lot of ways that I can become successful. I have the benefit of working for a small business. And the reason why that's a benefit is because there's so much opportunity to move up and do anything that I could do. When you work for a small business, they need one person to do 1,000 different things. So the more skills that you gain, the more that you can do. And something that's really hard for me is just talking to people, period. Like, I have social anxiety, especially in a professional setting. And as I've mentioned before on the show, it's because I have a fear of like not appearing intelligent. So I've been working on that, and my job has helped me with that, just to realize that I am intelligent. And also obviously me telling myself and other people telling me all the time, like, that's a silly thought. But and also being pushed to do public speaking there. Like, I can barely talk to someone one-on-one, let alone like a group. And I've been pushed to speak to groups and do things like that. I've been pushed outside of my comfort zone, and that in and of itself is success. So it doesn't necessarily have to be what society's shoving down our throats that is success, which totally reminds me what I was going to say. So back to what David was saying about entrepreneurship. My whole life I had said, I do not want to be an entrepreneur. Like, I am the type of person that I need to know what's going to happen, when it's going to happen. And that involves my paycheck as well. When you're an entrepreneur, you don't know how much you're getting paid, especially if you're someone who's on social media. One week your audience can like you, and the next week they might not like you. So your numbers are going to vary. And on top of that, you have to worry about how you're going to get insurance, how you're going to get benefits, and all those things that a full-time job provides. And if that doesn't scare you, that's awesome. But for me, that terrifies me. I need that stability of knowing what paycheck I'm going to receive. What are my hours, And like, I feel like people think that entrepreneurship is freedom. It is not freedom. You have to work more. You have to work way more than the working class citizen.
Yeah, and I think that's a beautiful thing that you touched on. It's like, people think that entrepreneurship and being a millionaire is like glamorous, but as you said, you put way more hours than 9 to 5 into it. You're working in the morning, working at night. And then the thing about it is that you're working during pockets of time that you have. And a lot of entrepreneurs that you see on YouTube, as you said, on videos and stuff, they talk about is like, they work their butts off to become successful. Sometimes they lose relationships. Sometimes they have to struggle with like mental health issues, and sometimes they don't have enough time for, like, maybe they have kids and stuff like that. They sacrifice a lot to get to where they want to be. Not to say that that's not something to be successful, you have to sacrifice something, but at the same time, you have to know what level you're actually willing to take. Like, what level of sacrifice are you willing to make for what you want to do? Some people, they don't want to make that sacrifice. The sacrifice that they're comfortable with may be something as like, oh, I'll sacrifice waking up early to go to this job, or I'll sacrifice maybe working a little bit later for overtime. That's how far of a sacrifice that they want to make. They're not going to make a sacrifice, well, I'm going to quit my job and start a brand new business, and 1 month I'll be making $5,000, the next month I make 500. And that's what entrepreneurship is. Like, it's not guaranteed unless you get to the point where you have employees and stuff like that. It's a struggle. It's take it from me having my own coaching business. One when I first started, I had a whole bunch of people saying they wanted me to be their coach. And then look at me this year, like I haven't had a client at this year, and it fluctuates. Last year I had a client that I had for the whole year. Now that and I was going to say that was another thing I was going to say. The successful thing about it is that and then I don't have a client now, and it's kind of like, dang, I don't have a client. But it was funny because on social media, I'm not gonna say the name because they might be listening. Social media, I started working with this person when they were leaving a relationship, and they didn't know if they were ever gonna have a successful relationship again. And recently they got engaged. And it's like, that's amazing. That's awesome. So it's like, it makes you feel like, okay, yeah, it's not at the point where you want it to be. And maybe at your job, you might not be as happy as you think you are. But as long as you're making a difference and you know that you're putting work and and you're seeing the fruits of your labor, I think that's beautiful. Whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're working a 9 to 5, whether you're doing both, as long as you see some type of progress, I think that's what should keep you going, no matter what stage you are in your life. So.
Yeah, whatever it is that you choose to do, you just have to give it your all. So if you're going to go the entrepreneurship route, then you have to give it your all. If you want to grow within the company that you're currently employed in, then you have to give it your all. And like you said, you have to make sacrifices. And I feel like if you're trying to grow within a company that you're in, you have to sacrifice like any breath of fresh air that you might have during the day, looking at your phone, anything like that. You have to really like focus and rack your brain, and it's hard work, like I just am disappointed that I feel like it sounds like entrepreneurship is the only intelligent, hard, difficult, successful work that there is to do, when it's not. There's a lot of success within corporate positions, and I don't think that should be undermined at all. But more to like what you were saying about your story, which I love, that was super cute that you helped your client. That is success. You help someone, you change their life, you help someone open themselves up to a new relationship. So that's success in itself. Like, success doesn't have to be when you do a particular thing. It's every single little thing that you do along the way.
Yeah, no, you said it perfectly. And I think sometimes you could get easily defeated when you think and you see, especially when you comparison of like, oh, I've been working at this job for 5 years and I haven't got a promotion yet. Or I've been an entrepreneur for 5 years and I haven't reached the goals that I really wanted to reach. And one thing I had to tell myself both ways, because I still have a job that I work and I also have my own business, is that what are you doing each day that you're actually happy doing? Like, what's the enjoyment of it? Like for me, with coaching, is like I still post things during the week and I create these new ideas and about things that I'm going through. And it was thanks to Jacky actually that I've actually been more vulnerable about the topics that I talk about. And then even at my job now, like I'm giving my all to the job that I'm working, and they promoted me. I got a promotion at the end of last year. I have this new position that they want me to start working at, and I just applied to it. And I'm progressing and moving forward. I think that's the biggest thing. Like if you know that you weren't where you were last year, that's success. Mm-hmm. If you know that you have learned more than you learned last year, or you experienced more that you learned last year, that's success. I think the problem that a lot of people have is that we try to define success as something that someone else has defined, but we have to define success based on what we define for ourselves. So.
You had a series about this, didn't you?
I did.
I'm like, that sounds familiar. But yeah, what I wanted to say was that I have changed what I wanted to do about 1,000 times. Okay. Like I wanted to stay at this one job that I worked at. Like I wanted to stay there. I wanted to grow within that company. I wanted to retire from that company. And Next thing you know, they closed the facility down and I was laid off.
Wow.
So that hit me like a ton of bricks. Like when the person that came in to tell us that they were closing the facility down was talking, I literally stormed out of the room like a dramatic person. I wasn't trying to be dramatic. It was literally like a natural reaction because I had just gotten divorced. And I thought to myself, wow, God really paved this way for me. Like he laid it out for me that I could leave this relationship, and because I got hired at this job where I'm a permanent employee and I have benefits now. So I'm going to be good without, being with my husband. And then next thing you know, they're like, oh, yeah, we're closing down. So that is the reason for the dramatic response. But also, like, I was so lost after that. That is where I wanted to be. And ever since then, I've tried many different things on Instagram. I had a page where I was just doing outfits. Then I closed it down. Then I was just doing my personal page. Then I started writing again. So then I made a public page again. Then I started writing. And now I'm not writing anymore. I'm like, you know what? I don't know if I want to write. I don't know if it serves me to talk about abuse. I think it leaves me in that mindset. And I'm kind of in a space right now where I'm like, what do I want to do with my Instagram? What do I want to do at all? Do I want to work in a position where in a company that inspires me and helps me grow? Do I want to give that my all and just kind of use Instagram as a hobby? Like, the point is that you have to be okay with not being good at something and let people see it, because you trying is what gets you exactly to where you have to be. And it's okay if it changes 1,000 times. You have to try.
Yeah, that's powerful. I love that, because it's like your effort should not be discarded, or your effort should not be seen as something that's not valuable. Effort is effort. You putting energy into something is important. No matter if you maybe failed or it wasn't successful for you, at least you put the effort out there. And there's so many people that you may know, I may know, that they'll say for years, oh, I need to do this, or oh, I should do this, or oh, this sounds like a good idea. They never do it. But when you actually take the time to do it for yourself and you're actually putting effort, that is beautiful. That's something that a lot of people have not done. So you should cherish those moments and value the mindset that you have to actually go out there and do it. So
Yes. Also, I wanted to talk about how you're doing a series on anxiety. I'm very excited about that. I
yes.
feel like anxiety is a pandemic of its own right now. And I definitely struggle with anxiety. I feel like I have it every day. I was going to comment on your post and say, yeah, I have it like every single day, but it might not be every day because I've learned like a lot of skills to manage it, but I do struggle with it very frequently. So I'm excited to see what you have to say about it. And I feel like when you can level out your anxiety, you can have like more successful relationships. And there's that word again, success. You can be a successful parent. You can be successful at your job. You have to calm your heart rate. You have to calm your breathing and everything like that. And I feel like it changes your life. So if you guys do not follow David already, you definitely have to, especially right now with this anxiety series. And also you post the videos on YouTube, right? So you can listen to him speak, preach a little bit about it, and hopefully it can help you out. So I'm definitely going to be following along with this series.
Yeah, I think when I went through an anxiety episode, and that's when I reached out to you and a lot of other people,
Mm-hmm.
um, it made me open my eyes, because I guess it was kind of like a little bit of pride, because I was like, I went to school for counseling. I got a master's in counseling. I'm literally a relationship coach. I should know how to deal with these situations when it happens in my life, but I didn't. And that's what shocked me the most. Not because of the fact that I didn't use the tools. I used those tools, but I'm not going to spoil my series, but I had an epiphany about something, but I'll say it very shortly here, is that, and if you want to watch the whole video, I'm going to post the first week episode series this Thursday. But I had an epiphany that the skills and the coping skills and the tools that I learned that helped me was for that stage in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a new stage in my life, and I need to refine those tools, refine those coping skills for the person I am today. Yeah, you may have those skills that have helped you in the past, and you may be able to still use them, but it may not apply to the person that you are today. And that's why it's so important that we have to continue to grow and learn, mature, and experience everything that we experience in our lives, because we're constantly going through new levels, new stages, new experiences. One thing I learned most is that the life that I had last year is not the life that I have now. So I need to not to say to discard all those skills, but to make them better. And that's what I learned through the anxiety that I went through. So.
Wow, that was like an epiphany for me too. And that totally reminds me that like every time I'm going through something, I have depression and anxiety too. So when I'm feeling depressed, I'm literally in my head, like, what are the tools? What are the tools? What are the tools? Like, I'm just saying that over and over in my head because I either don't remember them or they're not working this time. Like, there's some times where I'm like, I did it all, like, it's still not working.
Mm-hmm.
And I had told my therapist this, and I felt the same way as you, like, no, I don't have an education background on this, but I have done a lot of deep work, and I'm just like, I know what to do. Like, how could this still be happening to me?
Yeah.
And she had said to me, it happens to me too. I just said to my husband the other day, I'm terrible at this. Why do these people want to talk to me? I can't help them. I'm a terrible therapist. And she's like, I go through it as well. Like, I get depressed too, and I think I'm bad at everything and I'm terrible at it. And I'm here thinking to myself, I should know the tools. I'm supposed to help other people. How can I help other people if I can't help myself? But ultimately, that just goes to show you that, like, we're all human and we all struggle. The helper needs help.
Yeah.
The doctor needs a doctor. The dentist needs a dentist. The mailman.
Yeah. And the one thing, well, a lot of things I learned, but one of the main things that I learned through coaching and counseling, since I've been in both worlds, is that you always need to get someone else to help you. No matter if you think you're the most best coach in the world or best therapist in the world, you need a coach or you need a therapist yourself, because you are human. And sometimes you will make mistakes, or sometimes you will read things wrong, or you may go through anxiety, or you go through depression, and it's not the tools that you're telling other people to do is not working for you. So you're like, well, how am I going to help somebody else if it's not even working for me? And that's the problem that happens in a lot, and it happens a lot. And I have friends that are therapists right now, and they have therapists. And they go talk to their people. And I think the biggest thing about that, damn, we can have a whole episode about this, but the biggest thing about that is that we have to remember that, what's the saying that they say? Check on your strong friends. The strong people that you know in your life, they need help too. Just because you go to them with your problems or you talk to them about those issues, don't mean they don't have issues either. They don't have problems either. And that's why we have to talk about anxiety more, depression more, and things of that nature, because and it's sad that we see sometimes that people commit suicide or go through situations where they feel like they didn't have nobody to talk to, because they felt like that they felt like they were so strong that they should have figured it out themselves. So
yeah, exactly. But we totally got off topic. To conclude this episode, success is whatever it looks like to you, and like, don't forget to celebrate your little wins, and whatever it is that you choose to do, give it your all. And this includes stay-at-home moms or stay-at-home parents of any sort. Success is raising good children, good humans. So there's so many levels of success, and your level of success is just as important as the next person.
I completely agree. And I'll leave it off with this, as I said earlier, is that you define your success. No one defines it for you. That's it. So with that being said, I know we talked about two different topics, but that's okay, because we're human. We do stuff like this. So and once we both get on something, we run with it. So with that being said, thank you guys for listening and watching another episode of With the Heart and Soul podcast. Jacky's wonderful business, See Where We Land. They're on Etsy, See Where We Land. They're also on Instagram. They do amazing work with thrifted clothes, and they make them look amazing. They truly do. I really admire the work that they do, because it's so unique. It's such a nice niche that they set for themselves. My business, my coaching business, my relationship coaching business is www.yourcolabcoach.com. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Colab, COLAB coaching. I'm also on YouTube, Colab coaching. Jacky said that I'm started a whole new series on anxiety. Starting it this week. It's week 1. So tune in and definitely let me know. That's the timer. So we right on time. So let me know what you think about the anxiety. I'm going to try to go as deep as I can with myself and things that I've learned with that. And on Instagram, message me on Instagram if you have questions or things you want me to talk about. Our podcast, With Heart and Soul Podcast, we're on all major podcast stations. If you can't find us, let us know. But we haven't had anybody say they couldn't find us, so I'm pretty sure they could find us. So like and subscribe and subscribe so you don't miss out on the episode. It'll just pop up on your phone. We're also on YouTube. You see our lovely faces on YouTube. Watch and comment as well. We need the YouTube views. We need the YouTube views. We're also on SoundCloud as well. Check us out on there. I think that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for listening and watching. And until next week, bye.
Thank you. Bye.